I'm going to go back to today for my practice session. My practice session today, I'm going to try to go back to my normal thing, to my fretboard. But then then after that, I'll go to maybe I made another joke and then a song and then uh, a joke and then chat made it and then I made that into a song. So I'm thinking maybe if I get to that, I'll play with that later. But now I want to go back to just the normal building of chords with a lean forward construction. I have I have a whole idea that I'm going to map out. I'm going to try mapping out, by the way, if anybody cares about, about the way the MIDI system should be on relative positions. Because as far as I can tell, the software that is out there right now is not really based on, you would think it would be based on relative positions to the seven notes like the fretboard here, so that we can map everything out basically by relative positions to the seven note collection that we're in. And that way I would think that you should be able to write something in like the MIDI or even in the DAW with a guitar, and the system should be you should be able to detect the mode that it's in, or you tell it the mode that it's in, and then you should be able to tweak everything with two dials, which would be shifting it up through all 12 collections of seven notes, or you can easily twist the dial to rotate through all seven perspectives, which would just basically kind of shift up, the octave, because the root note would shift up, but it would be all the same notes. It's just the root note of the song that you've determined would just rotate through. That seems to me, if someone's playing by ear, which seems to be like, it's like I've been watching these guys on, they're playing their MIDI like it was like I'm playing the guitar. They're just kind of throwing stuff in there with a mouse or a keyboard, and they're isolating the notes in the key the way I'm doing with the guitar here, right? And then I'm just improvising. So it would seem that like it would be really cool if you could write that in these people, and if you're doing it by ear, then you can easily rotate it through all 12 collections of seven notes, and then rotate it through the perspective of the seven modal points. Doesn't that seem like, how come, like, I don't see anything that's like, maybe there's plugins that do that or something, but shouldn't that be like the way the thing is put together? I'm going to map it out in Excel, or at least I'm going to try, maybe, or at least I'm going to attempt it. And then, I'll show you what I'm talking about, because I think then someone could take that and put it into a database, because anyway, I feel like anyway, chat might be lying to me. Chat says it's a good idea, but I hear chat's been lying to people. It's driving them crazy. But in any case, we're going to start on the C here. We're going to build our chords out again from the C. I'm on the A string now, and I'm just going to go through up all the A strings, and I'm going to go through the lean forward chords, which I could call you can call the caged chords. Basically, they're all going to be either A minor shape or A major shape chords as we move them up here. All right, and so then I'm going to go through the three notes in the chord, and then I'm going to add the added notes to the three. I also think, by the way, on this MIDI thing, like you've got like 12 notes. Like, wouldn't it be better? Like I feel like what should happen is like you have one column or one row where you can put all of the octaves in that one row with a numbered system that would be relative to the Nashville number system, 1 through 7, and then you can add the 0.5s if you want to. So then you can basically type it in there like a 10 key on the keyboard, right? Wouldn't that be the better way to go? And I also feel like the the piano is not the best data input tool into a MIDI software. It should be you should just assign the keyboard to input into the MIDI software, and then you can play your keyboard, obviously like like the left hand of your free keyboard could be the fretboard, or you just play it with the 10 key. Wouldn't that be the logical thing to do? And then you don't have that weird key of C always being like the center point, like with the, right? I mean, and then like, so like the center, so then you don't have all the rows, because you could put all it on one row and you just number it, or you can put the letters if you want. You could switch between the two. I feel like if you were in a database program, you could shift, and then you just play by 10 key, and you just put in all the numbers, and it'll automatically go into the current key that you're in, unless you toggle it up or down. And so the only time you need to go up or down a row is if you're making a chord, which you could. I also think the drop down should have chord abilities, so you can actually put chords in one column. Like it could reference the chord. Wouldn't that be like, because then it wouldn't be all busy looking. You know, I don't know. That's what I feel like. And then people should be able to play their MIDI like I play the guitar with the 10 key. They should not with a piano, because the piano, it isn't, you can't adjust the piano to all the different keys as easily. It's kind of keyed to the key of C, whereas people would see it better if everything was numbered and then all the relative positions were the same, and then you could just rotate through all the relative positions with a modal center point. It would just be it'd be more intuitive. That's what I'm thinking. And so someone needs to make that, because I would like to play with it. Okay, so in any case, let's say we're going to build a triad off of the Ionian, which would be that would normally be a major C. All right, so it'd be a major C. The last note in it is a fifth. We just pick every other note until we get 3 of them. But I'd rather say it by relative position. So I'm already know the collection of notes is the collection of 7 notes around the key of C. So I'd rather just say it's the Ionian node that I'm on, and then the last note from that we're going to add is going to be the 5th scale degree, which is the 4th modal whole step up. So it's 4 modal whole steps up from the 1. So 1 plus 4 is 5. So we're going to go from the Ionian to the Mixolydian up here. And the Mixolydian, as we can see, is 8 notes away, 5, 6. Wait a sec, that's wrong. I have to change my perspective. Get your head in the game. It's going to be 5, 6, 7. It's going to be 7 notes away from the Ionian node, 4 modal half steps, which would be a perfect 5th. Okay. Okay, and so then so then I can name that a C major, but I'd rather call it a C2 modal whole step chord, because it takes 2 modal whole steps to get to the last note in the range, which would be 4 modal half steps, which would be the 5th scale degree. And then I could just skip every other one to get the ones in the middle, which would be the 1, 2, 3. So that I'm looking for the 3, which is the Phrygian. See how that's what I think the MIDI software should do too, right? Because a lot of these guys, like if I was playing and I didn't know anything about chord construction, then you could just say, look, you put like a thing in there and say it's an N to say that you're going to have a chord for the number of notes, and then you just say it's a 3-note chord, right? You could just say it's a 3-note chord and then say either the mode or the, right? I feel like, and then it could give you the chords. I don't know. It's all fuzzy. My idea is all fuzzy right now, but I feel like there's potential. I'm going to mute the one in the, oh no, I'm just going to bar it off. So then we could, this one's a octave up here. So we can just, that's the A shape. That's the A shape. All right. So what can we call that chord? I'd rather, we could also call it by range. So, right, it's a 1-5 modal range chord, or an Ionian Mixolydian modal range chord, an IX modal range chord, an ion mix modal range chord. It's going to be from a color system. It would be a yellow-green to a magenta modal range chord, which again, I also think would be something that you could totally put into a database system where you have an absolute color system, you know, that's all the same all the time. And if someone's just doing it by intuition, they can see the patterns. That's what they want to see, is the, anyway, I don't know. So, anyway, so now let's say that we add another note. We're going to add the 7. So we're going to add the 7. So it's an Ionian, so it's a major 7. So that means it's going to be only 11 notes away, so I can see it right there. So noting that it's only the Ionian and the Lydian that have a major 7, because if you build something off of the Mixolydian, which is the other major mode, it has a minor 7, as does all of the minor modes, Aeolian, Dorian, right? If you build something off of the Aeolian or the Dorian or the Phrygian, they all have the minor 7. Okay, so then how far away is it? It's an 11 note away from the Ionian node, 6 modal half steps, which means it's a 7 scale degree, which we call a major 7. And so that's good. And so you could call that a C major 7. You have to say major 7 and not just 7, otherwise it would be a Mixolydian 7 in essence. And but I'd rather call it just a 4-note C chord, right? So then you just take every other note from the C, or distance-wise, it's the Ionian node, and the last note up is 3 modal whole steps up, which would be 3 times 2, or 6 modal half steps up, which would be the 7th scale degree. All right, or you can call it by range. It's a 1-7 Nashville number system modal range, an IN modal range, Ionian Locrian modal range, or a yellow-green to yellow modal range. All right, it's a little bit wonky to grab that one. Not too bad. Did I get that right? Am I on the right spot? I'm all kind of nervous. I think I messed up yesterday. I don't want to look stupid 2 days in a row. I tried to look super stupid just one day and then redeem myself at least every other day. Okay, let's add the 9. So if I add a 9, then the 9 is equivalent to the 2 that we skipped, because it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, and then the 9, which is kind of like the 2, and the 2 is still off by 1, so 2 minus 1 is 1. It's going to be 1 modal half step up from the Ionian, so 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. I'm looking at you, Dorian, the Dorian doggy. All right, so if I pick that one up, then I'd have to lose the 3rd, which is kind of lame, because the 3rd is kind of important. The 3rd's kind of a big deal, you know? Maybe I could opt for this one out here, maybe. But that's kind of a stretch. Most likely I would pick this one up and drop the 3rd. So, but let's first think about what we would call it. We're going to call it then, you could call it a C major 9, but I'd like to drop the C and just call it by relative position, because that makes it transposable. So I'd rather call it just like a 5-note Ionian chord, or the distance to get up to this last node is, you can see it's a 2-note away, or 2 plus 12 if you take the octave from the Ionian node, first modal half step, which would be 1 plus 7 if you take the octave up, which would be 8, and it would be a major 2nd scale degree, or 2nd plus 7 would be 9, so major 9 away. So if it's 8 modal half steps up, 8 divided by 2 is 4 modal whole steps. So I would like to call it an Ionian 4 modal whole step, giving the point and the distance to the last point on the range. Or you can call it by range. It's a 1-2 modal range chord, an ID modal range chord, an Ionian Dorian modal range chord, an Ion Dor modal range chord, or from the color system, it's a yellow green to spring green, which has a distance of chartreuse distance. That stands for 2 modal halves. That's because you didn't know. Now that distance, by the way, it's ubiquitous. You know, it's in all of the. If I go from any of the nodal points, then we always have a major second, even in the minor modes, except for the Phrygian. That's where you get the half step, boom, boom, or in the Locrian, boom, boom. You expect that kind of thing on the Locrian, though. But Phrygian also has it. Okay. So then if I finger this, I just lift up the pinky, bar off, losing the 3. Try to get my ear training working. I need ear training badly. I'm gonna do Rick Beato's ear training. No, I don't know. I think he should do more new ear training on YouTube. I tried to listen to Yale has free courses, so maybe they'll teach me ear training. I've been listening to them. They're kind of interesting on the YouTubes. What if I tried to pick this one up? Is that even possible? Is that even possible, man? Yeah, but then I can't really get this, so it's going to be difficult to also pick up the third. Oh, yeah, you can do it, but most likely you're not going to be picking up the third, but you could. Most likely you'd just be doing that and possibly barring off, so you get 2 Dorians. Anyway, that hurts my fingers. You could also just toggle the 2 right there, just like a power chord to the 2, which is probably what most people do. All right. Let's say we go from the 2, so now the 2 is equivalent to the 9, and now we go to the 11. So we're going to go to the 11. So the 11 is like the 4, because it goes from a scale degree 1, 3, 5, 7, and then 9 is like the 2, and then 11 is like the 4. So the 4 is also off by 1, so 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1, the node we're on, Nashville number system, gives me Nashville number system 4 again, because we build everything off the Ionian. So there's 1 up here, but we also have 1 down here, which might be a little bit, I mean, I'd have to drop the 5 to pick this one up, but that wouldn't be too big of a problem. Wait a second, that's not right. I have to do that one. I saw the blue down here. It's not the same blue. This is azure, and that's just blue. They're different. Okay, they look pretty similar. You need to do eye training. Ear training. Your eye training is as bad as your ear training. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna say. So then I can, if I drop this one, I have this one, and then I can pick this one up, barring that one down. Okay, so we could pick up the 7. So in any case, what would we call that? That would be like a C major 11 chord, because we're just going to name it by the last one that we picked up. But I'd rather just call it something from the Ionian, dropping the need for the C. So it would be a 6-note C chord. Just pick every other note and drop the ones in the middle that you need to, as long as you're picking up the ones on the end, basically. Or I could call it a distance chord. So if it's it would be 5 modal whole steps up. So a 5 modal whole step times 2 would be 10 modal half steps, which would be the 11th scale degree. So you can see the distance here is 5 notes away, or 5 plus 12 if it was an octave, 5 plus the octave if you want to take from the Ionian node 3 modal whole steps up, or 3 plus 7, 7, 8, 9, 10 if you add the octave. And notice we're not 10 notes up. We are right here, we're 5 notes up, because I'm not taking into consideration the octave, thinking about going around in a circle, just grabbing whatever I can grab. And it would be a perfect fourth, or 4 plus 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, perfect 11th. All right, so then I could call it then by range, it's a 1-4 Nashville number system modal range chord, or an Ionian Lydian modal range chord, or an Ion Lyd modal range chord, or from the color system, a yellow-green to a blue modal range chord, which has a distance of mint, I think we call that, which is a 5-note distance. I'm not sure. I get my distance colors still a little mixed up, but that's okay. We'll work on the distance colors more at a later time. So I could just bar this bad doggy. Is that right? I'm still picking up that 7. Sounds harshy because it's a major 7. And then the new one I'm grabbing is right. Well, the new one's right underneath it. That's pretty solid, because that's a perfect fourth, 5-note distance. And then I could grab the 7. Or I could not grab the 7, and I could instead grab another root note. All right, let's go to the 13. So if I grab the 13, then the 13 is like the 6 that we skip, because it goes 1, 3, 5, 7. 11 is like the 2. 9 is like the 2. 11 is like the 4. 13 is like the 6. And 6 minus 1 is 5, plus 1 gets us back to 6. So we need an Aeolian node. So here's an Aeolian node. And that one is 9 notes away, or 9 plus 12 from the Ionian node, 5 modal whole steps up, or 5 plus 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 modal half steps up, which would be a major 6, or a major 6 plus, I'm sorry, not 12, plus 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, a major 13th. Okay, so I could call that an Ionian major 13, or I can say it's an Ionian 7. I can say it's a 7-note Ionian chord, or I can say it's the Ionian 6 modal whole step chord, the distance to get to that last point, or I can say it's a Nashville number system 1-6 modal range chord, or Ionian Aeolian modal range chord, IA modal range chord, Aeon modal range chord. Color system, it would be yellow-green to red modal range chord, which has a distance of a 9-note away from the Ionian 5 modal half steps, which would be a major 6 which I think is, it's not grape, it's like, there's another color for that purple. It's not, because I think, I don't know, I forget the color. We'll get to, I have to work on my colors. Okay. No one cares about the color. I care about the color. The color system. Wait, you just wait and see. The color system is gonna. So I could drop the set bar of these three. Or I could remove this one and just bar the whole dang thing off. Something like that. But I'm still grabbing that. The point is, I'm still going to name it the same thing. This is where the naming convention is not exactly optimal. I'm going to name it the same thing because the endpoints are still the same. I could try to put this one up here. I could put an A on top, maybe. Would be kind of interesting, not very easily. So 5, something like that. So I'm going to drop this one because it's redundant. Now I could, yeah. It's kind of nice. All right. My head's tired. Let's try a joke. See if I can pull this up. For the joke. Okay. And then how did I work this before? I wanted it. And then I can go here. But no, this is still not right. Still not right. There we go. And then I can put this on the half screen. Okay. That works. And I could put this on this side, maybe. All right. Okay, this one is a little lowbrow. It's a little lowbrow. So it's not too bad, but you know, if you don't, you could skip it if you want to. So let's see. So this is what I came up with. No more effing around, because through the advanced scientific research, we now discovered, like with the orbits of the planet, it's actually an ellipse, and not a perfectly round, which is fine. It's just that now we're not effing around anymore. Well, I guess we were never really effing around, but we just didn't have the scientific knowledge to know it before. Okay, that's my stupid joke. Now I was like, okay, chat, give me how would you reword this? And this is what chat. So I told chat to reword it, And chat was like, no more effing around, because thanks to advanced scientific research, we have now discovered, like the orbits of the planet, it's actually an ellipse. So it kind of did the build up to before the punch, maybe a little bit better than I did. I don't know, but this proper joke structure, I feel like. All right, and then okay, we never really been okay. So then I asked it for tags. I asked it for tags. So it says, all those years we thought Earth was effing around the sun. Nope. It was committed. Wait a sec. I can't see that my half screen doesn't work here. All those years we thought the Earth was effing around the sun. Nope. It was committed, just in an oval-shaped way. And then it says, ellipses, the universe's way of saying close enough. So imagine Kepler showing up like, hey guys, actually you're not effing around, you're effing adjacent. You're effing adjacent. Elliptical orbit. That's just like my dating life. I don't F around, I just get close, drift away, come back 6 months later. So it's kind of like, okay. From now on, when my boss says, stop effing around, I'll say, actually, I'm elliptical. Respect the math. Poor Copernicus, he thought we were effing, I can't see it because now I got the text all small. He thought we were effing around. Then Kepler walked in with an Excel spreadsheet like, bro, check the data. Okay. I don't think, is my audio not working properly? It's not. Nika, my audio's not working. Ah, dang it. Interessante. Well, whatever. Huh, doesn't seem like it's working over here. That's funny. Okay. All right. Well then, let me see. So I have then the baseball glove song. Oh, I was going to give my song. Here's what Suno, and then Suno made a song out of it. Here's Suno's song. Wonder if this plays on the audio. I'm going to duck fart one, but I thought it's not bad. I made that song with Suno and chat. They helped out a little bit, but I was like, I'm the one that got the idea. Anyways, let's try. Let's try. I was gonna do the baseball song. See if I can noodle with the baseball song for the last bit here. So this was the baseball song that I made a joke out, and then again, I thought it made a really good. Suno made a really good song. So then I was like, Suno, here's the baseball song. So I was like, Suno, take the text and then put some chords into it. And I told Suno to give me it in A minor, and then it recommended an A minor 12-bar blues pattern. So I was like, all right, do that. And then I was like, okay, now mix it up to a G major blues pattern, and then try an F Lydian because it recommended that. So I was like, okay, so we got multiple ways that it did that one. Let's just hear what they have to say, or let's hear this one. I thought this was a really good song. I'm impressed by it. I gotta hear this one. Does that come through that way?
The phone is stiff, I bought one fresh, wrapped in plastic, cold and fleshless. But I brought you history and you erased it clean. That ain't repair, that's a crime scene. Good as new, just made it worse. That glove is broken like an old purse. I'm not buying new, cause new gloves suck. They don't bend, they don't feel, and they don't bring luck. So next time I bring in a glove like that, don't fix a new one, fix it right, or I'll just let it rip and play on my busted old glove. In my middle age spot, in my middle age spot, in my middle age spot, in my middle age spot.
So let's try to do that one just downstrokes. My baseball glove got a rip in it last week. What is it? I took it down to the shop on Maple Street. Guy stitched it up and said, she's good as new. I just stared at him like, what'd you just do? I don't really feel like it. I don't really feel it. I'm just gonna noodle around for the end of my session here. I'll mess with that one maybe tomorrow. I don't know.